The garden is dark. Not the soft dark of a quiet night, the hard dark of a place where something is about to happen that cannot be undone. Torches moving through the olive trees. The sound of soldiers. Swords. Clubs. And at the front of all of it, a man Jesus had eaten dinner with 3 hours ago, walking toward him with a greeting already arranged, a kiss, a signal, a betrayal dressed in the clothing of affection. Judas. And behind him, the crowd. Jesus does not run. He has just spent the last hour on his knees in this garden, sweating in a way Luke describes as drops of blood falling to the ground, asking if there is any other way through what is coming. There is not. He knows it. And so he stands, and he asks the crowd who they are looking for, and when they say Jesus of Nazareth, he says, I am he. They fall backward. All of them. Soldiers and servants and temple officers, flat on the ground. He lets them get up. He tells them again, I am he. Take me. Let the others go. And that is when Peter draws his sword. 3 Gospels record what happens next without naming anyone. A disciple strikes. A servant of the high priest loses his right ear. Jesus rebukes the disciple, put your sword away. This is how Matthew tells it. This is how Mark tells it. One sentence, no names, move on. But John names them both. The disciple with the sword is Peter. The servant on the ground, hand pressed to the side of his head, is Malchus. And Luke, only Luke, in one sentence that the other 3 Gospels do not have, records what Jesus does before he says a single word of rebuke. He touches the ear. And heals it. Stay with me, because you need to understand what is happening around that touch. Jesus has already submitted to this arrest. He has already told Peter to put the sword away. He has already said, in Matthew account, that he could call 12 legions of angels right now and end all of this, and he is choosing not to. He is, in this moment, fully committed to what is coming. The decision has been made. The prayer in the garden is finished. He is on his way. And he stops. The Greek word Luke uses for that touch is Hēsato, the same word Luke uses every single time Jesus heals someone throughout his gospel. The woman with the issue of blood. The leper outside the city gates. The blind man on the road. Always the same word. Always deliberate. Always tender. This is not a reflex. This is not a gesture. This is the same intentional, focused, present act of healing that Jesus performed in every other moment of his ministry. He heals Malchus the same way he healed everyone else. The man who came to arrest him. The servant of the people who are sending him to die. On his knees in the dirt of Gethsemane, pressing a restored ear back into place, is the last person Jesus heals before the cross. Here is what most people miss. John tells us his name. Malchus. It is a name that comes from the Hebrew and Aramaic word melech, which means king. The servant of the high priest, the man whose ear Peter severed in the dark, the man Jesus stopped to heal on his way to being killed, his name means king. Origen of Alexandria, one of the earliest Christian scholars, writing in the 3rd century, noticed this. He pointed out that Malchus, the one whose name means king, was healed by the one who actually is. Not symbolically. Not eventually. Right there, in the dirt, in the middle of an arrest, with soldiers watching and torches burning and the machinery of execution already in motion. The historian Josephus, describing Roman arrest procedures of this period, records that any act of violence during a custody transfer could mean immediate execution, of the prisoner and anyone with him. Peter's sword stroke did not just injure Malchus. It put every disciple in that garden in danger of dying on the spot. Jesus healed Malchus. And in doing so, he may have saved Peter's life as well. The last act of healing in Jesus' ministry is not performed for a follower. Not for a believer. Not for someone who asked, or sought him out, or pushed through a crowd to touch the hem of his garment. It is performed for someone who came to take him away. On his way to the cross, with the decision already made and the soldiers already surrounding him, Jesus stopped for one more person. Not because it changed anything about what was coming. Not because Malchus deserved it. Not because anyone in that garden would remember it as the point. He stopped because that is who he was. All the way to the end. All the way through the arrest and the trial and the road and the hill. The last thing his hands did before they were nailed open was put someone back together. If you have ever wondered whether grace has a limit, whether there is a point at which the circumstances are too dark, the timing too late, the person too far on the wrong side of things to be reached, Malchus is your answer. His name means king. Jesus healed him in the dark, on the way to dying, without being asked. That is the last miracle. And it was for an enemy.